I'm here with super lightweight operator Robbie Davies Jr. Hi, Robbie. Thanks ever so much for giving your time up. First of all, how are you? How is the family?
I'm good, thanks. I'm in the house on my own at the moment, so I'm just chilling out for a little bit for the next hour or so anyway.
Good stuff. How are preparations going for your upcoming fight? Obviously, you haven't been given too much notice, so how are preparations going with that?
I was already penciled in to fight around this time anyway. I was meant to be fighting for the European title. And even last year, they told me I was fighting in October. Then it got pushed back because of the pandemic. Then they said November, December. Then it was January. Then the pandemic said no fights in January. But instead of like me head going and thinking, oh, I'm going back home and I'm just going to stop training, I've just stayed on it basically. And I'm in great shape now. And when the opportunity came up, we were ready to go straight away.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you have taken it at short notice, and Valenzuela's only been stopped once himself by Ramos, who's a decent fighter and 21-0. How difficult a fight do you think this is?
Yeah, it'll be a tough fight, and I'm expecting him to bring his A game. Don't think he'd take the fight if he wasn't ready, so I'm expecting a hard fight.
Yeah. Do you think if we'd been in different climes, do you think you would have readily accepted it, or do you think it's a case of during this current climate you've got to accept opportunities as they come?
No, I've always been the same. I'll fight absolutely anyone. My manager and me coach and that do all the inside things for me. I'd already accepted this fight before I'd even looked at him, so it made no difference to me at all.
Yeah. Obviously, stereotypically, Mexican fighters are tough. Do you know much about him? Have you and Dominic Ingle worked on anything specifically, or is it more about focusing on your own attributes?
Well, I think I'll be focusing on my own attributes, but Dominic will have had a look at him, and my manager have obviously had a look at him, and they obviously thought that he didn't have anything that could trouble me, so they've accepted the fight. And then when I got to the gym, Dominic just said, "Rob, get your kit off. You've got to check weigh-in." He knew my weight was good. I said, "Why am I fighting for a title?" He said, "Yeah, you're fighting a Mexican kid for an IBF title." And I did. He knew there'd be no questions because he knows what type of mentality I've got. And I just said, "All right, no problem." And that was it. I've had a few little looks at him since then. I've had a little, like maybe a minute glimpse just to see his stance and his style and what is like his movements like very quickly, and all the in detail stuff I'll let Dominic do.
Yeah. If we rewind to a fight of yours that everybody likes to talk about, with Lewis Ritson, obviously it was a great fight, as many of yours are, and it was a fight of the year for many people. Bearing in mind how well you performed, are you a little bit surprised that there weren't more calls for the rematch after that fight?
Yeah, I've mentioned it a few times. Like I said, like you see loads of other good fights, British fights, and they talk about rematches straight away. And even some of them now, rematches are getting made that have been in good fights. But mine's been like one that's went by the wayside, and I feel like not as many people. I think like fans do, but not like promotional teams or Sky Sports. They haven't really done a lot on it, talking about the rematch. But I always just keep my head focused on what I've got to do in the meantime, and hopefully later down the line that will come up.
Yeah, I mean, this fight's for the IBF Intercontinental belt. You've held the British and Commonwealth and European belt before. Do you think this fight might catapult you back to sort of the peripherals of world level and title fights?
Well, this is the sort of fight where with these international belts, it's more for the ranking for me, not so much the actual silverware. So get myself back into the hopefully top 15, possibly top 10 with the IBF. Then maybe the win might get me into the top 15 with some of the other governing bodies. Then another fight before the summer, push on again, and then by the end of the year, I could be in a good position. So I've just got to take each step as it comes for now.
Yeah, I wonder if I know you've had fight dates fall through and you've kept yourself going and stuff. Do you think it's difficult as well when you're at a certain level to find those matchups and stuff? Because I suppose it might be considered easier if you've got a prospect, you can sort of find someone to pitch in, but you're at that level where not so many would jump in sort of readily because the danger that you represent, I guess.
It works both ways, obviously, because they've got to be willing to take the fight with me, and I've got to be willing to take the fight with them. So there's got to be something in the middle that makes it beneficial for both of us. And I think with this sort of like ranking and the belt on the line, it's made it beneficial for, well, I can't even say his name, sorry, but him and myself.
Yeah.
I've just always I'm just always more focused on me, to be honest. So when they come at me with opponents, I'm not really fussed on who I fight. So I always leave it down to my manager and my coach, because there's not like, Robbie, will you fight him? It's just, Robbie, you are fighting him, because they know I just go with the flow. I'm not bothered to a fight. Yeah. I don't care if he's a fighter. I don't care if he's a boxer. I don't care if he's southpaw. I don't care if he's orthodox. I just fight anyone, really.
Yeah. I think that's testament to the kind of fighter you are, the fact that you rocked up at the gym, like you said, and you said, Robbie, we've got a fight for you. Is that testament to some of, obviously, your commitment, but obviously the work you've done at the Ingle gym as well, and kept you ready?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I am ready. Like, I'm in very good condition. I'm not like someone that's just took a fight on short notice. I am ready to go. So, and my weight, I've kept my weight on borderline where I've needed to be since Christmas time. I didn't really have a Christmas what I'd like to have with the family, because I thought I was fighting sooner. So then I thought, there's no point me now, because I'm big for 10 stone. I thought, if I just let myself go now, I said, I'm going to make it hard for myself somewhere else down the line. So I've just stayed on it. And I've always been good with my nutrition anyway, but with the help of Dominic giving me a little bits of advice here and there, I find it a lot easier to just like maintain and stay strong and stay healthy during camp without my weight going back up. And it's been beneficial for me in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it there. It must be really difficult to continue that motivation and make those sacrifices. I mean, you've got a family, and you're evidently a family man, and coming all that way and seeing fight dates fall through when you've sort of sacrificed your Christmas. Was there ever a point where the frustration got quite difficult to maintain that drive?
Not so much. Like, even like me and my little family that I live with now, like, they know that boxing's been like my whole life for as long as I can remember. And even like now, having a little girl and that at home, it's just giving me that extra little bit of drive. And I wouldn't want things to suddenly just slide away from me now, just because of the pandemic and fights getting fall through. Because I know I'm not the only fighter that it happens to. It happens to loads of fighters. So you've just got to take it with a pinch of salt and just get on with it. I think in the past, my head might have fell off, and I'd have kicked and screamed, and my manager had had to get my head back on the straight and narrow. But now with the likes of Dominic, and I'm training with all champions, and I see it happening to them all the time, like fights getting cancelled, world eliminators, world title fights going to purse bids, and I see all the different things that go on in boxing. Like in my last gym, it was only really me on my own. So I wasn't comparing myself to anyone else. Now I see what these are going through. And I think this is just boxing. You just got to get on with it.
Yeah.
And that's basically what I've done. And I've stayed ready. And now the opportunities came for me.
Absolutely. And you mentioned there as well, being around like-minded fighters, and that level that you've got now of fighters at the Ingle gym, that must give you fresh impetus and stuff as well. The likes of Kid Galahad, Liam Williams on the verge of title fights, and yourself, obviously. Willie Hutchinson, does that give you added motivation? Is that good? It must be buzzing at the moment.
Yeah, the gym is absolutely buzzing. Like, everyone I speak to, they always say like, "Oh, you're part of the Ingle gym now." Yeah, oh, the gym's buzzing. You've got someone fighting for the British title. You're fighting for titles. You've got some of the lads fighting for world titles. Like, everyone's got their own ambitions and their own goals, but everyone's pushing each other on during it all as well. So it's good for us all to bounce off each other while we're all in the gym.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see from the snippets of your training how in good condition you are, and the work that's been done. In a sort of perverse way, has it helped having this sort of long layoff, or not as many opportunities in the ring, to figure out and absorb the information and the changes that you've made with the new trainer? Has it helped to be able to gather all of that?
Well, that's the way my manager looked at it. Like when fights were getting like set up and then they were getting put back and things like that. Like at first, I was a bit and ahhing, like, oh well, I was ready to go there. But my manager and my coach, they didn't have no problem at all because they were just like, it's longer for him to learn his craft, and practice the new things I've been learning. And as time's gone on, it's getting better and better every week. And now it's time for me to showcase it.
Yeah. You're a fighter who clearly just wants fights, like you said before. When you had suffered a loss, you got straight back in and avenged it. You've asked for a rematch with Lewis Ritson before. The type of fighter that you are and the type of dramatic fights that you're often involved in, can we expect to see some big fights in the next 12 months?
Yeah, hopefully. I've got to get through next week, obviously. I imagine that's going to be a tough fight as well. But then if the bigger opportunities come my way, then there's no doubt that I'll be jumping at them. Like I won't shy away from any big names. The bigger the name, the better the fight for me. That's the way I look at it. If I was offered a fight and it was someone like Central Area level, I'd probably knock it back because I don't want it.
Yeah.
But if they offered me someone who's world level, would they say like, there's no chance you're going to win? That'd make me think, well, I want to prove people wrong. I want that fight.
Yeah.
So that's just the way I am. And the bigger the fight, the bigger the opportunity, and the more I'm up for it.
Yeah, obviously, like you said, it's about getting that ranking up and moving up the rankings. But there are some decent British level fighters at 140, aren't there? Are there any that do you think might be on your radar, or are you not considering?
Ritson, just Lewis.
Yeah.
For the time being, the only British fighter I want is Lewis, really, unless something happens and there's a big opportunity against someone else. But for name's sake, I wouldn't just like want to fight someone just for the sake of fighting someone. But if there was an opportunity to progress me somewhere and there was something put on the table to me by Eddie and my manager, then we'd have a look at it. And of course, I'm always game to fight anyone. I just got to make sure it makes sense for myself and my team.
Yeah, I agree. It's about getting progressive fights, isn't it? What's your relationship like with Lewis? I know quite a lot of fights sometimes have a bit of needle, and then afterwards it's not too bad. Are you? Do you have any contact with him, or do you think there's still that level of animosity that there was after the first fight?
I've said this on other interviews before. I don't think it's like it's personal. It's just rivalry that we're both in the same weight. We're both similar levels. We've fought before. And there's just always going to be that needle. Do you know what I mean? Like away from boxing, we're pretty similar. Like we just want to be with our families and look after them and do what we can for them. Really, we're pretty similar in ways. He likes his football, Newcastle. I like my football, Liverpool. But just when it's down to the boxing, it's just a rivalry, isn't it? We're in the same weight. He's got the prodding stick now because he's got the win over me, so he can just prod me whenever he wants, and I just want to get it back.
Yeah. I would chuck my hat into the ring with the football, but I'm a Middlesbrough fan, so I better keep quiet about that, I think. Well, never mind. Do you fancy a win this weekend, mate, for Liverpool?
I hope so.
They're due one, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it. We do a big win.
Yeah. Listen, all that remains really, mate, is for me to wish you all the best with your fight. A couple of weeks away now, aren't we? So I would imagine everything's in full swing. So I thank you for your time, mate, and I wish you all the best in the fight and hopefully speak soon.
Honestly, I appreciate it. No problem at all. Great interview, and I thank you very much.
Thanks ever so much, Robbie. Take care, mate. All the best to you.
See you soon, mate. Thank you.
Thank you, bud. Take care. Bye now.
All right. Have a good day, mate.
You too. All the best, mate. See you later.
Bye.